Hi, everyone. Welcome to Let's Talk Risk, where our goal is to connect, engage, and inspire, and build a community of global risk practitioners. I'm your host, Naveen Agarwal, and today I'm super excited to welcome Bijan Ilahi. Bijan is a globally recognized leading authority in safety risk management of medical devices. He's also an award winning and best selling author of a book on this topic. So I want to welcome all of you to our conversation today. We will talk about the International Safety Risk Management Conference Bijan is organizing in Amsterdam in April. This is going to be a really exciting event, and I can't wait to hear more about it. With that, Bijan, welcome to the show. How are you today?
Hi, Naveen. Good, thank you. I'm glad to be here.
So, Bijan, there's a lot of excitement about this International Safety Risk Management Conference building up, right? Tell us a little bit more about what this conference is about.
Yeah, this conference actually is new. We performed the first edition of it in 2024 in Minneapolis. And the story behind it is that, I've been in the MedTech safety for over 30 years, and I've been looking for a conference to that focuses on medical devices. I found there are a number of conferences on safety, but they focus on other areas like defense, aerospace, aviation, automotive, chemicals, nuclear, all those things. But very little attention was given to MedTech. And I tried to encourage other conferences to expand their MedTech part, and it wasn't happening. So finally, some of the people who were passionate about this subject and were enthusiastic about it, we got together and said, let's just create a conference for MedTech. And we did. And first time it happened was in April of 2024 in Minneapolis. And it was amazing, Naveen. It's just the reception, the success was, I could not have imagined it. We had completely sold out capacity. And we had hundreds of people come from 13 countries. The US FDA came. The CEO of Medtronic opened the conference. It was just such an amazing experience. And so at the end of the conference, we said, well, we need to do this again. And because there were so many people who had traveled from Europe, we said, well, in fairness, we should do the second conference on the other side of the Atlantic. So we're doing the second conference in April of 2025 in Amsterdam.
That is really awesome. And I think you are right, because, safety, people talk about safety in many different areas, and for medical devices, for some reason, there is not a dedicated, focused effort. So I'm really excited about this. Now, Bijan, let's talk about the logistics a little bit first, as we have our audience, maybe a lot of people interested in that. Tell us a little bit about where it's going to be held, what are the dates, and what does the program look like right now?
The dates are the 24th and 25th of April, 2025. The location is Amsterdam, and right in the heart of the city. We are, and of course, we have added an extra education day on the 23rd of April, which is the day before the conference starts, Wednesday. And that will be a full day of tutorials and workshops. We have 7 excellent teachers that have volunteered to teach. We're going to have about 16 hours of education, and for a very low price of only 199 euros. And you can attend any of those courses or all of them if you can.
Any of them. And this is just only for the workshop part, right? If you're coming to the conference, for a little bit more money, you can get this training experience. I think that's a great deal, isn't it?
It is fantastic, and I think is unbeatable. So it's an excellent opportunity for people who are coming to the conference to just come one day sooner, get all this great education for a very low price. And then the conference will start on the following day, which is Thursday, the 24th of April. And the venue itself is quite attractive. It's a 15th century royal palace. And in fact, the current king's mother, the previous queen, was married in this same venue.
Nice.
It's a beautiful venue right on the Amsterdam canals. So yeah, it's great.
And from what I gather, Amsterdam is really beautiful in April, isn't it?
Oh my God, this is the best time of the year. I used to live in the Netherlands, and April is the best time. All the flowers are in full bloom. There's festivities. It's just the best time of the year to visit the Netherlands.
Perfect. So, guys, if you're just joining now, we are talking to Bijan Elahi today, who is the organizer of International Safety Risk Management of Medical Device Conference in Amsterdam in April. But guys, this is also an opportunity for us to ask any safety risk management related questions to Bijan. He is really very knowledgeable and experienced in this area. So our conversation today just doesn't have to be all about the conference, even though I know many of you are excited about it. But if you have any questions for risk management related topics, please make sure you share them in the chat, and Bijan and I will address them as we can. Okay, Bijan, so can you give us a glimpse of the program that you have organized? What kind of speakers you are having and what kind of topics you're going to talk about?
Right. Yeah. So actually, of course, that's the best part of the conference is the speakers. We have 2 days of programming in 2 tracks. So this 2025 conference is 4 times bigger than the 2024 due to the first year success. We have 4 keynote speakers. We have 2 keynote speakers from the FDA. One will speak about what good looks like with respect to risk management in regulatory submissions to the FDA. I think that would be really great advice to get insights from what do they look for, what do they want. The second keynote speaker from the FDA will talk about cybersecurity and its impact on safety risk management. I think that would be also very interesting. And then to balance things between the US and European regulatory, a person from TUV, Trup Sud, will come and speak about submissions in the European regulatory space and the kind of deficiencies that they typically see. So I think this is really a fantastic opportunity to learn from other people's mistakes and be more efficient and produce better submissions with respect to risk management. And also Susan Needle, who is a world authority on combinational devices, will talk about the integration of ICH Q9 and ISO 14971 with respect to combinational medical devices. And I think this is also attracting people from the pharma world because, I don't know, a lot of pharma companies are also producing devices to deliver their pharmaceuticals, like injectors and pre-filled syringes and things like that. So that's also, and this is just the first part of the conference, the keynote speakers. Then we have 20 speakers that have been scheduled to speak on a variety of great topics for the duration of the conference, or the 2 days, and we'll finish with a number of roundtable technical discussions on specific topics. So then the participants, like the people that are attending the conference themselves, will be able to interact with the speakers and share thoughts, and it's going to be more of a level way of discussions.
Awesome. So Bijan, these are going to be interesting topics and speakers. And we hear about cybersecurity a lot, right? Big topic in our industry. How about artificial intelligence, machine learning? That's also up and coming. Is there anything related to that in the conference?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah, there are multiple talks about AI. I don't know if you guys know Pat Baird. He is the leading author of ISO TR 34971, which was about risk management of AI-based medical devices. He's one of the speakers, actually. And so you can hear firsthand from not only him, but there are others who are going to talk about applications of AI, impact of AI, use of AI, all different topics related to AI. And
nice.
Yeah, so that's you're covering basically the hottest topics in the space.
Yeah, and you are also bringing people who are really active in that area. They have a lot of knowledge. So Bijan, we have a question from our audience. Will there be an online option like last year?
Oh, absolutely. Yes. Yeah, we want to make this accessible worldwide. So we'll have an excellent online option. You can sign in for half the price, actually, of the regular conference fee. And the conference will be live broadcast, and you will be able to interact, even ask questions. And on top of that, we will record both tracks of the conference, and all the registered people will be able to get free access to the recording. So, for example, if you happen to be in a time zone that is not very convenient for you, and you're not going to participate in all of the conference live, participate in as much of it as you can if you're remote, and then the rest of it you can watch the recordings later.
Oh, that is just a great opportunity to kind of make it accessible and available to people who cannot even, who are not able to travel for one reason or another. So that's excellent. All right. So we have another comment from our audience. Steve is saying, don't miss hearing Pat Baird. Always very entertaining and educational. I think Pat is really the leading authority in this space right now. Are you able to tell us anything at all, any teasers from the kind of content that we expect to hear from speakers like Pat?
Well, I'll tell you about a teaser about a different speaker. I don't know if you know Joost van Vroonhoven. Maybe some of you don't know that name, but he is the convener of ISO 14971 Technical Committee, EC210WG1, which is the authoring committee for ISO 14971. He's one of the speakers, and he's going to tell us about the future of ISO 14971. So I'm really excited about having him. Because we can see the future by listening to him. What's going to happen with ISO 14971? What changes will may be happening in the coming years? And then on top of that, we have a number of authors of ISO 14971 that are going to be there in person. You can talk to them, and if you want to learn about the history, what happened, what do you mean by this in the standard, you can talk to the actual authors. Which is amazing.
Incredible. And now, from what we hear, and I know Ed Bills is in the audience today, he has always kept us informed and updated about these developments. From what I hear, ISO committee is also looking at AI ML guidance and adding that to 24971, right? Based on the METR that came out. Is my understanding correct?
That's right. Yeah, that's right. So what came out as ISO TR 34971 is going to turn into another document, ISO TR 24971-2. So yeah, that's great. And Pat is instrumental in creating that.
Wow. So I can't wait to see that come out. Even if it's in draft form, it'll be very nice to see. And maybe we can have a live conversation with people about ISO TR 24971-2, right? What is going to happen there? And maybe they can give us some behind the scenes updates about that. So another opportunity for us to learn a little bit more. This is exciting. I'm really getting warmed up about this, Bijan. So let's continue.
I want to tell you one other thing that I'm excited about, and that's yourself. Okay. For people on the line, maybe you don't know, but Naveen has been named as one of the leading 100 leading voices in MedTech for 2025. So he's a celebrity himself, and he's going to be at the conference, teaching. So you can come and listen and learn from Naveen himself.
Thank you, Bijan.
So,
thank you, Bijan.
Thank you for coming.
Okay, so in that case, let me give you guys a preview of what I will be talking about. In fact, for a long time, I have thought about this problem of benefit risk. And we know it's a very challenging topic in practice because, there's really no cookie cutter formula. How do we do that? So I'm going to be talking about actually a case study where I reverse engineered the benefit risk evaluation of an AI ML device just using FDA's template. FDA has given us a very good guidance on benefit risk evaluation for medical devices. And what I did was I just reverse engineered that based on publicly available information. So I didn't make it up. I didn't have any inside information. So I'm going to be actually presenting this case study to just illustrate to people that it's not that difficult if you follow what is in the guidance and if you have some data. Well, one point I want to emphasize, Bijan, for everybody in the audience is that more than the benefit risk evaluation that we think of, we always think about that as a, point estimate or a fixed number, but it's the uncertainty. Uncertainty is in both benefits and risk that we have to actually pay a little bit more attention. So I hope that'll be interesting to people. Now, looks like Ed is sharing a comment with us. Joe is a good speaker. 14971 will be reviewed for update in March. And the ISO TR 24971-2 will be the subject of March meeting as well. Excellent. So we can't wait to hear that. We hear more about it. Thank you.
Timing is perfect because in April we have the conference, so we can hear the latest.
Yeah, and maybe people can talk about that a little bit more openly if that information is publicly available. I'm hoping that way. So thank you for sharing that update, Ed. I really appreciate that. Okay, so Bijan, tell us a little bit more about what people can expect if they are just coming outside of Europe. Like how are you balancing the needs of audience from Europe versus other parts of the world?
Well, with respect to risk management, they all have to conform to ISO 14971 for safety of medical devices. So in that case, I'd say the expectations are similar. The only difference would be how the US FDA and how the European notified bodies act. One of the differences is that in America, the FDA is able to advise companies. You can talk to the FDA if you're going to make a submission and ask them, what can I do better? What are my deficiencies? And they can help you. Whereas in Europe, the notified bodies are prevented from giving you advice. And so they, unfortunately, they have to be much more tight-lipped, and they can't talk to you and advise you as how to improve your work. They can only tell you pass or fail. Well, one of the nice things about coming to this conference is that you get to talk to these European notified bodies in a more casual stage, and maybe after the speech by our TUV representative, we can over coffee chat with them and ask some questions. So this is, I think, one of the differences between the US and Europe as far as regulatory.
But having said that, we should keep in mind that globally, the major regulatory authorities, they sort of work together and they harmonize the regulations, their expectations, how they should be implemented. So in general, practices from one jurisdiction, we could learn from that, even though we may not have access to them directly let's say in Europe. But if people want to follow how FDA, decides based on their public information. For example, I read a lot of de novos or 510Ks or PMAs. And when I read them, I actually get a pretty good sense of what the regulatory authorities might be expecting. And even though they may not hear that directly from notified bodies, some advice or consultation in Europe, this information is available and people should probably look into that. I'm sensing that we can learn a lot from what is already out there in the public domain.
Of course, yeah, we can.
And the second thing is that when we have conversations in forums like this, that's why we do Let's Talk Risk, right? And we have conferences, and we just want more opportunities for people to engage and have these discussions so we can learn from each other. Yeah.
Yep.
So this is a great opportunity, guys. I want to invite you to keep sharing your questions, comments in the chat, and as best as we can, we will try to make it interactive. So if you have any specific questions or topics of interest, anything maybe even outside the conference, that is okay. If you have some top of mind questions, comments about safety risk management, please share that in the chat with us, and we will try to address that as much as possible.
Something else I wanted to also mention about this conference, where one of our speakers, actually maybe two of them, will talk about the design of medical devices so that the safety is built into them from the ground up. And one particular speaker that I'm thinking of is Professor Gerald Loeb from University of Southern California. And he's been in the medical device technology, both development and teaching, and has a lot of knowledge and experience from things that have gone wrong, things that have gone right. And he's going to share his knowledge and experience and give us some tips and advice into how to properly approach medical device design so that they're safe from the ground up.
Now, that is very interesting and relevant topic, right? Because we seem to struggle there a little bit.
Yeah, most companies find that they design devices to the best of their ability, but maybe they didn't think about all the safety features that they needed from the beginning. They come to the forefront of their thoughts later. But as you know, the later you solve a problem, the more expensive it is. So it's beneficial and advantageous if we learn how to approach the medical device design so that safety is built into it from the beginning, from the initial concepts.
Yeah. And Bijan, I think I also see this as a two-part problem, right? The first part is obviously in the first phase of first design and development, when we are starting from the beginning. And we should do the best we can to design safety, but it's also in the post-market phase when we go through so many design changes. How do we manage that design process where safety is always on top? Let's say we learn about a new hazard or a hazardous situation, which we are supposed to do, right, based on clause 10 of 10971, and we decide to do a design change to incorporate that. We should be thinking basic safety principles and putting them back into design. So to me, it's a two-part problem. And recently, I just recorded this conversation with Aaron Joseph, guys. Just a early plug for you guys. It's coming out next week. He focuses on this whole notion of medical devices never being finished because we are using so much software now. It goes through so much change. So how do you practice design controls in a very efficient way in the post-market phase? I think this is going to be a major challenge for people in our industry, as even AI, ML, those models are supposed to change in practice, right?
Yes, yeah.
So how do we do that? How do we keep safety in mind even in the post-market phase? To me, sometimes I feel like it's even more important and critical than the pre-market phase, because there we are at least trying to pass the bar of the regulatory authorities. We want to do the best we can. And we do a good job, right? Okay, so Bijan, we have a question here from our audience. Will there be any presentation on PCCPs, which is predetermined change control plans, and potential impact on the risk management process? Do you have any information about that?
I don't have any abstracts that mention they're going to talk about PCCP, but that doesn't mean that there won't be such discussion. It may just be that they didn't mention it ahead of time. I know that there are talks about multiple subjects, some of them about post-market, some pre-market. So for Dr. Parvinian, who's asked this question, I can't be sure, but maybe.
And what I would say is that PCCP is also a hot topic, very new. And I think maybe 45, 50 odd PCCPs have gone through FDA's process. Even FDA is learning a lot more about PCCPs. And guys, if you are interested I have published conversations about PCCP with leading experts on Let's Talk Risk. So you're welcome to take a look at those. Very good question about PCCPs. And I have a feeling maybe it's not as mature a topic yet, but an emerging topic that people should be very interested in.
Yes. I think another topic that is going to be covered is post-market, best practices in post-market risk management. We have a number of talks on that from experts. And, one thing to also remember that this is a great opportunity for networking. You're going to meet the best minds, the best experts in the field and in the audience, and as well as the speakers. And we're going to have vice presidents from Medtronic and Philips there in person. So, you may be able to talk to them, and, it not only could advance your career, but also advance the state of the art in risk management, because together we are shaping this. This is a volunteer conference. This is not a commercial thing. So we're putting our energies, our thoughts, our efforts together to advance patient safety for the whole.
So, Bijan, I'm going to actually ask you this question. Post-market is such an important topic, and I think people struggle with it. I have thought about this for a long time. I have actually written about post-market. From your perspective, Bijan, if you were to take a step back and say, here are the top two practical problems I have seen in the industry when it comes to post-market, what would those be?
I think the number one that comes to mind is improper hazard identification, meaning that hazards that you did not anticipate and they showed up after the release of the product. And the other one would be underestimation of risk, because companies sometimes, in pre-market, sometimes in pre-market, it's all about prediction. It's about prediction of the future. We anticipate what the risks of a product will be. And based on those anticipations, we calculate the risk and then compare it against the benefits and see, is it acceptable? So all of that is based on predictions. So predictions are sometimes wrong. And that's the second area about underestimation of.
Thank you. So Bijan, we have a question here. Compared to other safety critical sectors, how do you assess the level of safety analysis skills and competencies within the medical device industry? I recall an older FDA report, Barriers to Quality. I think that was around 2010 or so, long time. They should issue a new report, highlighting that some medical device companies lack expertise in developing robust risk assessments and mitigation strategies. Given the existence of 14971 various guidance documents, why do you think this gap persists? So, a kind of long question, but what are your high-level thoughts on that?
Yeah, so I think the question generally is asking why are MedTech companies not so good about risk management? If I were to say, put it in a nutshell, I think that's what the question is asking. Partially, I think, is because MedTech is young, is new. I come from aerospace. I spent my early years of my career in aerospace, and aerospace has been at it for about 40 years longer than MedTech. So there's a lot more experience and background. And so that's one aspect of it. The other aspect that, and this is just my thoughts, is probably because MedTech is new technology and a lot of innovation, and companies that there are a lot of startup companies that are started by researchers who are scientists, they're developers of advanced technologies, but not necessarily medical device developers. So they're very good in producing a technology, but not very good about making it into a provable medical device. So I think that partially this gap of knowledge is because of the background of the people that are creating these startup companies, and partially just overall for the whole industry is that the industry is young relative to some of the other industries.
I think that's pretty consistent with my observations too, Bijan. And also, let's also, mention this. Since we are so close to it, we always see what is missing, where the gap is. Let's take a big picture. We have come a long way, even in the last 20 years, the kind of innovation that is coming out, and it's safe and effective, by the way. It works, and it works really well. It's impressive. Unlike when I read the de novos, when I read the PMAs, I'm just really dazzled by it. I'm so impressed. There are pockets of excellence in our industry, guys, and that is what we learn in these conferences. We meet people who have done this for a long time. Let's just not put a broad brush paint and say our industry sucks. No, it doesn't. We have an opportunity to improve. Okay, so I'm very passionate about this. We have a comment here from Angelina. I agree, Bijan. How can SME help create a bridge that understanding such a complex area of risk management? Thank you, Angelina, for sharing that comment. We all have to work collaboratively, right, Bijan?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, Angelina, that's why we have these conferences. That's why we want to bring the experts who have gone the path, they have learned the right ways, the best ways, to share it with the rest of us. Together we can lift the whole industry. And that's why I said this is a collaborative conference. It's volunteers coming together, generously sharing their knowledge, talking with each other, collaborating, and together we really can do much better than individually.
Okay, Bijan. So I know we are coming to the end of our 30 minutes. We have a very important announcement, right, Bijan? So tell people about this early bird discount that they can take advantage of.
Right. Yeah, we have an early bird pricing on the conference that ends at the end of February. So you still have some time, and can get about 10% off if you go to the conference website. And I don't know if you can share that.
Yeah, we'll share that in the show notes and also in the comment section on the event page. We will do that.
Yeah, it's just medsafetyconf.net.
Okay.
And so you can go there and see the pricing. And of course, the sooner you sign up, the better. You should know that the capacity for the education day is limited, is much, much smaller than capacity for the whole conference. So once that's sold out, it's gone.
Yeah.
So I suggest sign up as soon as possible.
Sign up as soon as possible. I really would encourage everybody to take a look at this and reach out to Bijan or even me if you have any questions. We will help you make a good decision about this. And if you cannot join in person, again, the remote option is also available to you. So, Bijan, as we close, let's wrap it up and share maybe a couple of key takeaways today.
Yeah. Well, the conference is an amazing, excellent opportunity to not only advance your career, learn more, advance the safety of the patients for medical devices, but also it's just a great opportunity to connect with the rest of the community and learn. I'd say don't miss this opportunity if you can. And as I said, there's both in-person and online opportunities. So we have done everything we can to make it possible for people to join from anywhere at any time.
And if for one reason or another we are not able to have everybody make that decision now, guys, we are trying to create this very casual conversational space on Let's Talk Risk. I encourage you to be a part of this. Show up every week. We do this every week. Every Friday we connect at 11 Eastern. Show up and have a conversation. Be a part of this discussion. And you can be a contributor too, because I know all of you have a lot of expertise, and together we can learn from each other. So with that, Bijan, time flies. I really enjoyed this conversation today. I hope people are excited about this conference as you and I are. And I want to thank you for taking the time. By the way, the work you have done, I know behind the scenes, the work you have done is incredible. You are a leader in this space, and you are showing leadership by doing this. And you don't get paid for this. You do this because you are so passionate about this, right?
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
So, guys, we are all in it together. I hope to see you there. And I hope to see you in the future Let's Talk Risk conversations too. With that, thanks, everybody. And thank you, Bijan.
Thank you, Naveen. Bye-bye.
Bye.